guys, this is time for Lunch and Learn, and today we welcome Joan.
Hello everyone. Do you all have your sandwiches in front of you, or maybe a salad? And while you're munching away, you can learn how to make our sweet, useful project for today. So, yep, I'm Joan Rogers, from Patchwork Garden, and we're glad that you're all joining us this afternoon. Beautiful day in Western New York, less humidity, so we're all happy campers today. So how about,
Let's know where you're from.
oh, sure. I thought Helen was playing piano keys for me. Yes, let us know where you're joining from this afternoon. Okay. This is what we're making. So think this is going to be so useful, and you roll it up and put it in your purse or your tote and take it shopping with you to your favorite quilt shop. Just a little plug. All right, are we ready to get going?
I think we are. We have about 20 folks with us today for lunch so far.
Okay, well, welcome. We're going to switch cameras and get started.
All right.
Okay, so are you wondering what this little bundle's going to turn into? It turns into the Stow Go Tote. So I'm going to just unwrap this. Our useful mask ties. They're really coming in handy. So I'm just going to unroll this. And there is your shopping tote. It's nice and thin. There is no interfacing, no extra interfacings at all, or battings of any type. It's just straight fabric, all really nicely and professionally finished. So this is a Karen Montgomerry pattern from the Quilt Company, not new, but I thought this would be really good, again, so that you can just keep it in your purse at all times. And when you come into our shop or any shop, you can load all your goodies in there. All right, so this is the pattern that we'll be working with, so you can purchase that if you would like. Here are some incidentals also. We'll talk about the fabric first, perhaps. 1/2 yard of fabric for the body of the bag, and 1/4 yard for whatever your top trim is going to be. And it's on both sides. Okay, so it's on both sides. And then it calls for 1 ponytail holder. But again, these are my new favorite tool. So these are mask pieces of elastic. So if you've not seen this before, this slides up and down so that you can tighten or loosen. And the 2 ends that are tucked in here are just the ends. So they just get sewn in.
With that bead, it's adjustable.
It's very adjustable. I just love these things. So I didn't have a ponytail holder at home. Plus, the other thing is, I think they're really thick most of the time. So this is really easy to sew through. Okay, so we have 4 color choices for you today. We made up little kits that are 1/2 yard of the main fabric, 1/4 yard of your accent fabric, and 1 elastic tie. So nice and easy, $9.99. Okay.
And they have a coupon.
And they have a coupon for 10% discount. So for a small price, you can make a really adorable bag. So obviously this is the sewing themed one. Just loved this fabric. I'll be showing you, and I can actually get my pieces out of order. Okay, so this is another choice. So that lovely floral. Lee picked this for summer, and a nice whimsy basic to go with it. And then Helen's going to bring up on the screen 2 other choices. So when we were talking about making this, and after I made the first one, I thought this could be a really good trick-or-treat bag too.
Well, I have the Nomies up right now.
Oh, you have the Nomies up. I was going seasonally. Okay, so the Nomies are more wintry, so you could make a nice Christmas gift, and instead of wrapping paper, you could slide your gifts inside the bag, and then whoever you gave the gift to, they would then have a shopping tote.
Or you could go with the Halloween.
With the Halloween, and it is glow in the dark. So if you're out and about in the evening and that is in your purse rolled up, it's going to glow for you so that you can find it. Okay, so just 4 fun choices for you. Again, they're going to include the half yard of fabric, the quarter yard of fabric, and the matching elastic tie.
Right, the pattern is separate.
The pattern is separate because we thought perhaps you might want more than one. Because when you see how very, very quick and easy these are, you're going to have a great time making them. All right, so they don't list anything other than, a fabric marker, thread, your rotary supplies, okay? So I'm going to suggest for your fabric marker, the disappearing ink. Oh, this is not the right one. Oh, sorry. I want the selfie race. Oh, I'm so sorry. I grabbed my older one. So Alex Anderson, he has a selfie race marker that is disappearing. And I love, love, love it. So we're just waiting. They are on their way again to us, and we have many, many, many coming. So you want the self-erase marker that is the purple, that is disappearing through the air. Okay, the other thing is you need a point turner so that you can get nice, crisp push-outs at the bottom of your bag, okay? So I'm addicted now to this. Helen told me that I had to have this. So the Expert Point and Press tool, I know several of you have purchased these over the last couple of months, so an excellent time to use it, or a point turner that you have. It's very important, you want polyester thread so that your bag will be nice and strong. Okay, so we carry superior threads in our shop, so fine. Okay, so that's a really good product. And then lastly, I did use this because I love my Perfect Press. So this is a hot press perfect ruler by Clover, designed by Joan Hawley. And I've talked about this several times before, but I'll be demoing to you how I used this. Okay, because it gives me nice, exact, and crisp pressing. Okay, so I'll demonstrate how to use that. So those were some of the things that I used. So here we go. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is the fabric. All right, it says, okay, you're going to use a half a yard of fabric for the body of your bag. And it says the very first thing is you're going to cut a rectangle that's 30 inches long by 16 inches wide. Don't do that first. So I have this little notation that we're going to cut the strap handles first because they are 18 inches. Okay? So what you're going to do is take your half a yard of fabric. Okay, so I'm going to pretend. These are my salvage edges. I am going to lay my fabric so that it is running 18 inches. And the first thing I'm going to do is trim off my salvage edges and measure over and cut 2 4-inch pieces because I've left this on the fold. Okay, then you take and turn it into a 16-inch wide piece by 30 inches. But very, very, very important. And do you know why I know that? Because of course the very first cut I made when I went to make the first one, I ruined the piece of fabric because I cut the 16 inches all the way up the cross grain. And then I didn't have enough for my ties. Okay, so there is that. And then you're going to cut for your top trim, 2 rectangles, okay? So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is take your top trim and you're going to sew it to your 16 by 30 piece. So across the 16 inches. So a 1/4 inch deep seam. Backstitch beginning and end. Now, do you all remember the magic pillowcase? Well, if you've never done it, this is what happens here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you, this is the bottom. Okay, so this is here to here is my 30 inches of length. All right, so my trim is underneath, right side up. This is just like doing a pillowcase. And I am just going to take and roll my main bag. And then I am going to wrap that main fabric inside the top trim. So does that sound familiar? Well, perhaps not. Is there anyone on, Helen, who is saying they've never done this before?
Well, we have a little delay, so I'll let you know in just a little bit.
Okay.
So let me know, guys, if you haven't done this before, if it's new for you.
All right. So I'm going to pin this and sew this. And I have the bulk of my bag inside. All right. So again, through the magic of television, here we go. Okay. So you can let me know, Helen, if anyone wants to see that again.
I certainly will.
Okay. So remember, I rolled, the trim was underneath, right side up. The 30 inches of length of my bag, I rolled it all up, and then I brought the right sides together of my trim and stitched. Now, what I'm going to simply do, is pull this. I'm just going to need my right or my left hand here. Ta-da! And now we have, just like in a pillowcase, that beautiful seam. Oops, I'm just putting my iron on, okay? And it's all finished. So what you're going to do is press this, okay? Okay, now we have this at this end, but when I bring this over, this end is unfinished. So what we need to do, we're just gonna measure midway and find the center and put our piece of elastic there. Okay, so what I do, you could fold it in half, but my rulers are always out. So I know that this is 16 inches wide, so I'm gonna just take my 8-inch ruler and I'm gonna lay that here, and the cut ends of the elastic are going to be up against here, and you're gonna lay this so that the bulk of your elastic is into the top of the bag. And then you're gonna just stitch across that, okay? Then we need to create this opposite side. So I'm gonna just turn this. My tie has been basted on, so I'm just gonna throw in a little pin at the moment. Probably stick myself in a minute. Okay, now what we're going to do Okay. Here's my tie, and I just laid over the other trim, just like we did in the beginning. And I'm gonna stitch it on with a 1/4 inch seam and back stitch. And guess what we're gonna do? We are going to turn this over. We are going to, oh, not yet. Sorry, I forgot a step. Okay, so we've got this sewn on. Yep, we are gonna do this. Okay, so then we're gonna take the opposite end, ignore my handles at the moment. We're gonna take the opposite end, okay, and we're gonna roll it up again. Okay, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're going to take and sew this and pull it through again. And then, yep, we will have the exact same thing happening at each end of the bag. Okay? Does that all make sense? Okay. Nobody's saying anything, so that's always a good thing. All right. So all we have to do, once we have those two, what Karen calls 2 hot dog pieces done, okay, is we're gonna make our handles. So this is where I use my Perfect Press. Now, you could, as in the instructions, you're gonna fold in half, fold in, and fold in. I don't do that. I take my Perfect Press because I love it so much. And each one of these big lines is a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna fold 1 inch in on both long sides. And the reason that I love this is that it gives me nice, crisp, exact measurements. So what you do, can you see that I am pulling my fabric gently across into my ruler? In this ruler, you just press on it and nothing happens to it. It doesn't get hot. It stays cool, and you can move it on, but it presses beautifully. Kind of want to snug it. You don't want extra space up at the top. Okay. And I'm going to do that from both long sides, and then I fold in half. So that this gives me an exact. And I like that, okay? So then you would do that again, measuring, and whoops, let me do one part of it. I hope you're all having something good for lunch, because I haven't eaten yet, and I'm getting hungry. Okay, that's all showing good on the camera. And then we just fold them in half and give it a really nice press. And you're gonna stitch down both long edges. But that is where I use my Hot Press Perfect ruler. Okay? So you're gonna make 2 straps. And then according to the pattern, you are going to measure in and measure down and lay your handles so that the bulk of the handle is laying into the bag. You're going to stitch your scant-ish 1/4 inch seam, and then you're going to press them up and restitch, covering that inside seam allowance so that, again, no raw edges are showing, which is really awesome about this whole project. No raw edges. Okay, so you're just going to do that. Okay, and then you're going to do that to this side. And we're going to pretend that this is all sewn. And you're going to do that to this side with your other handle. And then make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, now all we need to do is bring and make the side seams of the bag. But we are going to do what they call a French seam. So if you're unfamiliar with that, we are going to lay the bag matching the top edges. Handles are on. We're going to bring it wrong sides together and stitch a 1/4 inch seam. I'm staring at my elastic. Just remember when you're stitching your elastic on that you want to stitch over this back and forth a couple of times, okay? So you're going to stitch with this exposed, okay? So it looks like you're doing something wrong. Here's a little sample. So wrong sides together, and you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam and a 1/4 inch seam, okay? Then what you do is you turn your bag wrong side out, and this is where I use my cute little press point turner. Look at that. And then you are going to stitch, press first, okay? So you're gonna press this all nice and flat, side seam pressed, okay, so that it's matching seams. And then what you're gonna do is stitch a slightly deeper seam, which I stitched a 3/8 inch seam, okay? And then you're gonna stitch enclosing the seam allowance, okay? That is called a French seam. And then you just turn your bag right side out, push out that corner, and then your bag is perfectly done. Done. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my bag in. Okay, so this is the inside of the bag, and that is my seam allowance is hidden in there. Okay, so everything on the entire bag is totally finished. Just love that. So what do you think? Was that fun and easy? And we're getting ready to shop, which is my favorite thing. Okay, so this is really cool. So if you give this as a gift, the bottom of the pattern right here, they tell you that you can copy this and give a set of instructions as to how to fold it up, okay? But what we're gonna do is bring it to the inside, just past your handles, and bring it to the inside again, just past your handles. And then we're gonna take the handles and we're gonna tuck them in. We're gonna roll this down. And then we're gonna roll this up. And the reason you roll down is to expose your elastic. Ta-da! So that's it. So really, really, really simple, useful, perfect for you, perfect as a gift. So remember, it can be a Halloween tote and go trick-or-treating. It could be a Christmas or birthday gift tote and put the present inside. And then this is also the present. So any questions at all?
So far, the only question that I wanted to share was a question, because some folks came in midway
Okay.
about can they access the video. Absolutely. It'll all our Lunch and Learns videos are on our Facebook page, so it will be available a few minutes after the broadcast. And that your coupon is lunch in all caps, and it is good for 10% off through midnight tonight. And then when is our next Lunch and Learn, Joan?
We're actually taking 4 weeks off. So instead of 2 weeks from now, it will be 4 weeks from now on Friday, September 24th at 12:30. But have no fear, in October, we will be back 2 sessions. Just in September, we needed to take one of the weeks off. So we will meet you back here in 1 month with another fun program for you.
Yeah, we're getting Love This, simple, fast, and useful. Awesome presentation. This is really great. And so, guys, we want to just thank you for taking your lunch and spending it with us. And don't forget to watch a really special Saturday Smile.
Saturday Smile tomorrow morning. Yep, up nice and early, and we'll have more great things for you. Oh my gosh, you have to see our warehouse classroom. It is filled with fabric. So lots of good things coming your way. Thanks for joining us. Bye.